Have you ever noticed how many people just accept that life starts winding down after 65? Like there's some invisible finish line we're all supposed to be approaching. I hear it all the time, from women I know, from friends, even from family. This quiet resignation, as if the best years are behind us and now we're just managing what's left. I used to feel that way too. During my late 50s, after decades of pouring myself into my work and my family, I looked in the mirror one morning and thought, is this it? Is this what the rest looks like? But here's what I've learned since then, and what the research actually shows. At 65, your heart can still beat another billion times. Your brain can still grow new cells. Your muscles can still rebuild, stronger than they were in your 40s. The reason most people don't reach that potential isn't because their bodies can't. It's because their daily habits are quietly telling their bodies to stop trying. That realization changed everything for me. Researchers followed more than 44,000 adults over 60 for 2 decades and discovered something remarkable. Those who practiced just a handful of simple morning habits lived dramatically longer, with sharper memory, stronger legs, and far fewer signs of aging, not from pills or expensive treatments, from how they started their day. And the truth is, your body wakes up every single morning waiting for instructions. The first hour after you open your eyes determines whether your cells begin repairing or breaking down. When you start your day with sugar, stress, or sitting still, your body reads that as a threat and shuts off its healing response. But when you start with the right actions, simple, quiet, intentional actions, your body activates something like a natural recovery switch that keeps your circulation healthy, your muscles strong, and your energy steady all day long. Today I want to share 6 morning habits that the science points to again and again for extending your life after 65 and keeping your body feeling years younger than your age. And please stay with me through all of them, because habit number 2 has been shown to activate a cellular repair process that scientists are calling extraordinary. Before we dive in, I'd love to know, how old are you and where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Now let's start with a habit you're probably getting wrong every single morning. The first one, drinking water immediately when you wake up. 16 ounces of room temperature water before anything else touches your lips. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But a long-term study following 11,000 adults for 25 years found that this single habit was connected to living significantly longer, by as much as 7 years. Here's what's happening inside your body while you sleep. You lose roughly 2 pounds of water through breathing and sweating overnight, which means you wake up with blood that's thicker and more sluggish than it should be, forcing your heart to work considerably harder just to move it through your veins. Researchers found that people who drank 2 full glasses of water first thing in the morning had dramatically fewer heart attacks and strokes. This simple act of hydration thins your blood within minutes, easing the strain on your entire cardiovascular system for the rest of the day. Now, I know what most of us do instead. We reach for coffee. I did it for years. But caffeine first thing actually dehydrates you further and triggers a stress response that spikes your cortisol levels when they should be naturally coming down. It's like pouring something harsh on a dried out sponge. Your body needs water first. Everything else can wait. I started this habit when I was 60, right at my turning point, and the difference I noticed was immediate. That morning fog I'd been blaming on age, it lifted. The low-grade dizziness I'd accepted as normal, it eased. I felt clearer, steadier, more present, just from water. The temperature matters too. Room temperature water absorbs significantly faster than cold water because your body doesn't have to spend energy warming it up. And research shows that chronic morning dehydration actually shrinks brain tissue over time, leading to memory problems and cognitive decline that people wrongly blame on getting older. Keep it plain, not flavored, not sparkling, because additives slow absorption and can irritate an empty stomach. If plain water feels boring, a small squeeze of fresh lemon adds vitamin C and gently stimulates your digestion without disrupting anything. And try to drink it at least 30 minutes before breakfast so your body has time to fully absorb it before food arrives. One more thing that struck me when I learned this. As we age, our bodies lose the ability to recognize thirst properly. By the time you actually feel thirsty, you've already been dehydrated for hours. So don't wait for the signal, just drink. Every morning, before anything else. It's become as automatic to me as opening my eyes. But what comes next works even more powerfully when it's paired with that hydration. The second habit, getting 10 minutes of direct natural light on your face. This one changed my mornings in ways I didn't expect. Opening your curtains or stepping outside and letting natural light reach your face within the first 10 minutes of waking can meaningfully reset your biological age, according to researchers who measured cellular aging markers in thousands of participants. Here's what's happening. Your eyes contain special cells that don't help you see. They send signals directly to the part of your brain that controls every hormone release for the next 24 hours. When morning light hits those cells, it triggers an immediate drop in melatonin and a healthy rise in cortisol, exactly what your body needs to properly wake up and begin its repair work. The research found that seniors who got at least 10 minutes of morning sunlight had substantially better sleep quality, meaningfully less depression, and, this is the part that stopped me, their telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that determine biological age, were significantly longer than in people who stayed in dim indoor lighting. Without that morning light, your internal clock drifts later each day. That's why so many women I know find themselves wide awake at 2 in the morning and exhausted by mid-afternoon, a pattern that accelerates cognitive decline. I lived in that pattern for years during my rough patch. I didn't understand why I couldn't sleep properly, why my energy collapsed every afternoon. Part of it was that I was spending my mornings indoors under artificial light, never giving my body the signal it needed to set its rhythm. Now, every single morning, I step outside here in Asheville, even just onto my front porch, and let the natural light reach my face. On cloudy days, I still go out, because even overcast daylight is dramatically more effective than indoor bulbs at triggering the biological response your body needs. And the timing window matters. Light exposure after 10 in the morning doesn't have the same effect because your cortisol has already peaked and your body has missed its chance to synchronize. If you can't get outside, at least open a window, because glass actually filters out some of the light wavelengths your brain needs. And please know that the blue light from phones and tablets doesn't work as a substitute. It confuses your rhythm more than it helps. Morning light also stimulates serotonin, your body's natural mood regulator, which is why I genuinely feel different on mornings when I get outside versus mornings when I don't. It's subtle, but it's real. A quiet steadiness that carries through the whole day. Combine this with what comes next, and the effect becomes something researchers say can turn back your biological clock by years. The third habit, eating 30 grams of complete protein within 90 minutes of waking. This one is personal for me because it's the habit that made the most visible difference in my body when I started taking my health seriously at 60. Here's the truth that nobody told me for decades. After 60, you lose roughly 3% of your muscle mass every single year. And once you drop below a certain threshold, your risk of falling increases enormously. A single fall after 65 carries a devastating chance of serious consequence within the following year. I watched my mother, Patricia, lose her mobility after falls in her 70s. I watched my older sister, Carol, struggle with weakness and instability through her 60s. I was not going to let that be my story. Researchers found that seniors who front-loaded their protein in the morning maintained dramatically more muscle mass than those who ate most of their protein at dinner. This is because morning protein consumption triggers muscle repair when your body is most primed to build and recover. Your stomach acid and digestive enzymes are strongest in the morning after fasting all night, meaning you absorb protein far more efficiently at breakfast than at any other meal. And here's what most women my age are getting wrong. They're eating less than 15 grams of protein at breakfast. Toast, a piece of fruit, maybe some cereal. That's not enough. That signals your body to start breaking down your own muscle for the amino acids it needs. It's a quiet form of loss that adds up month after month, year after year. The type of protein matters too. Complete proteins, the kind with all 9 essential amino acids, like eggs, Greek yogurt, or lean meat, trigger significantly more muscle rebuilding than incomplete proteins from grains or vegetables alone. I eat eggs almost every morning now, sometimes Greek yogurt with berries, sometimes a protein smoothie with spinach and almond milk. I aim for that 30-gram mark because the research shows that's the threshold your body needs to actually switch on muscle repair. Anything less and you don't get the full benefit. The timing is important. Waiting more than 90 minutes after waking means you've missed the window when growth hormone levels are naturally elevated and your muscles are most receptive. And if you're plant-based, you'll need a bit more, closer to 38 or 40 grams to get the same effect. What I realized was that for years I was asking my body to stay strong while feeding it almost nothing useful in the morning. Once I changed that, little by little, one breakfast at a time, I could feel the difference in my legs, in my posture, in how I carried the groceries, in how I got up from the floor to play with my grandchildren. But the next habit is one that works at an even deeper level, and it surprised me how much something so small could change. The fourth habit, 60 seconds of single leg balance exercises before breakfast. I've talked about this before, and I'll keep talking about it because the research behind this is extraordinary. Standing on one leg for just 30 seconds on each side, 1 minute total, can dramatically reduce your risk of dangerous falls and actually reverse age-related brain shrinkage. A landmark study tracked 4,000 seniors for 10 years and found that those who did daily balance exercises grew new gray matter in the regions of the brain that control both physical stability and memory. Those are the exact regions that shrink with age, the ones that determine whether you walk confidently or suddenly lose your footing with no warning. Your balance system involves 3 components: your vision, your inner ear, and something called proprioception, which is your body's sense of where it is in space. Without daily practice, these systems stop communicating properly. That's why someone can go from walking perfectly fine to falling seemingly out of nowhere. What changed for me was understanding that balance exercises done in the morning are significantly more effective than those done later in the day. Your vestibular system resets during sleep and is most adaptable to training right after waking. So I do mine every morning, standing near my kitchen counter, lifting one foot just an inch off the ground, holding for 30 seconds, then switching. Some mornings I add gentle head turns or slow arm movements to challenge my brain to adapt in real time. The improvements happen faster than you'd expect. Most people see measurable progress within the first week. And it strengthens those small stabilizer muscles around your ankles, knees, and hips, the ones that quietly weaken with age, but are essential for catching yourself when you step wrong or encounter something unexpected. It takes 60 seconds. I do it while the kettle boils. And I think about the fact that researchers found this simple test, whether you can stand on one leg for 10 seconds, is a stronger predictor of how long you'll live than your cholesterol numbers or your blood pressure. That changes how you think about priorities, doesn't it? But the number one habit, this is the one that made even the scientists pause. The fifth habit, and the most powerful one, 10 rounds of 4-7-8 deep breathing. When I first heard about this, I almost dismissed it. Breathing exercises? That's going to change my health? But the research behind this specific pattern is backed by Nobel Prize-winning science, and once I understood what it does inside your body, I couldn't ignore it. Here's how it works. You inhale for 4 counts, you hold for 7, you exhale for 8. That's 1 round. You do 10. This specific pattern triggers your vagus nerve to shift your body from stress mode into repair mode, literally flipping a switch that determines whether your cells spend the day breaking down or building up. Researchers found that this breathing technique measurably increases the activity of an enzyme that rebuilds your telomeres, those protective caps on your chromosomes that determine how well you age and how long you live. And here's what concerned me when I learned it. Most people over 65 breathe only into the top third of their lungs, getting far less oxygen than they need. We're quietly depriving our organs of what they need to function, and it accelerates aging in every cell. When you do the 4-7-8 pattern, the extended hold forces oxygen deep into the lower parts of your lungs, where the most efficient exchange happens. Your bloodstream floods with oxygen. The long exhale activates your calming nervous system so powerfully that it lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and drops cortisol, the stress hormone, for the entire day. I do this every morning now, sitting on the edge of my bed before my feet even hit the floor. It takes less than 3 minutes. And what I noticed, not from the research, but from my own body, is that my mornings feel different, calmer, steadier. I don't start the day bracing against something. I start it grounded. During my rough patch, in my late 40s and 50s, I lived in a constant state of low-grade stress. 33 years in school administration, raising 2 children, caring for everyone around me while quietly neglecting myself. My breathing was shallow and tight for years, and I never once thought about it. Learning to breathe deeply, really deeply, was one of the simplest and most profound changes I've made. The timing matters. Doing this immediately upon waking, before stress hormones flood your system, sets a calm baseline for your entire day. It costs nothing, requires no equipment, takes less than 3 minutes, and it's more powerful than anything you could buy in a bottle because it changes how your body operates at the most fundamental level. The sixth habit, and this is the one that ties everything together: gentle morning movement to get your circulation flowing. This doesn't need to be a workout. It doesn't need to be intense. It can be as simple as a slow walk around your block, some gentle stretching, a few minutes of mobility work for your hips and shoulders. The point is to tell your body, with your actions, not just your intentions, that today is a day for living, not for shutting down. I do a short walk most mornings here in Asheville, along the quiet trails near my home. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 30. I pair it with that deliberate, rhythmic breathing I've described. And by the time I come home, my body feels awake in a way that no amount of coffee ever gave me. My joints are looser. My mind is clearer. My posture is taller. I feel like myself. And that's really what all of this comes down to. These 6 habits work together. The water thins your blood and primes your cells. The sunlight synchronizes your hormones. The protein rebuilds your muscles. The balance work rewires your brain. The breathing reverses cellular stress. And the movement gets everything circulating. Each one amplifies the others. But I want to be clear. You don't have to do all 6 tomorrow morning. That's not how I did it, and it's not what I'd ask of you. Start with 1, the one that feels most doable, most natural, most like something you could actually keep doing. Add another the following week, and another after that, little by little. That's the phrase I come back to again and again, because it's the truth of how lasting change actually happens. Within 6 weeks, you'll have built a morning routine that your body recognizes as a signal to heal, to rebuild, to keep going. Not because you're fighting time, but because you're working with it, intentionally, gracefully. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a trainer. I'm a 66-year-old woman who spent nearly a decade feeling her body quietly fade, and then decided at 60 that she wasn't finished. Everything I've shared with you comes from research I trust and choices I've lived. Please talk to your own doctor about what's right for you. But what I can tell you is this: the choice you make tomorrow morning when you open your eyes isn't just about one day. It's about whether you'll be strong and clear-headed at 85, whether you'll be walking your own path or depending on someone else to carry you, whether you'll be on the floor playing with your grandchildren or watching from a chair. I have 3 grandchildren, Sophie, Henry, and Lily, and every morning when I drink my water, step outside into the light, eat my protein, stand on one leg by the kitchen counter, and breathe deeply before the day begins, I'm doing it for them, and I'm doing it for me, because I want to be here, fully, present, strong, for as long as life allows. You can start with just one habit, 1 minute, one quiet choice, and that single decision can ripple into years of better health, sharper thinking, and a body that still feels like yours. So tell me, which of these habits are you going to try first? Are any of them already part of your morning? Or is tomorrow the morning everything changes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one, and I respond when I can. Because aging well isn't something that happens to us, it's something we build, one morning at a time, with grace, with intention, and with the kind of quiet strength that starts before the rest of the world is even awake.